Welcome to A Vibe Above, your space for deep healing, vibrant energy, and powerful transformation. Here, we explore holistic wellness, sound healing, mindset shifts, and the path to your future self. Every episode is designed to help you tap into the wisdom of your body, elevate your energy, and expand into the version of you that feels fully aligned. Through ancient practices, modern insights, and grounded guidance, you'll uncover the tools that create lasting change, inside and out. You're here to rise, to heal, and to step boldly into the life that's waiting for you. So let's dive in. Welcome back to A Vibe Above. I'm your host, Ranieri, and I'm really glad that you're here today. I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people are experiencing right now. And it's this feeling of trying to make something work that just isn't flowing the way you thought it would. It could be something in your business, a decision you're trying to make, a direction you're trying to move in, or even just how you're showing up day to day. There are moments when you can feel yourself putting in effort, thinking about it more, trying different approaches, and yet it still feels heavier than it should. And when that happens, it's easy to assume that you just need to try harder or push a little bit more to get things moving. But that's usually where things start to get even more frustrating. When something is being forced, there's a certain feeling that comes with it. It tends to feel heavy, repetitive, and sometimes a little draining. You might find yourself going in circles, revisiting the same thoughts, or trying to solve the same problem over and over again without getting a clear answer. It can also show up as overthinking, where you're analyzing every possible option and still not feeling settled in any of them. Or it can look like constantly adjusting your approach because nothing quite feels like it's landing the way you expected. And the more important thing to recognize here is that this feeling isn't random. It's just information. Instead of seeing that resistance as something to push through, it can be helpful to look at it as something that's trying to show you something. In a lot of cases, forcing something points to one of two things. Either the direction itself isn't fully aligned for you, or the timing just isn't right yet. And those are two very different situations, but they can feel similar when you're in the middle of them. If something isn't aligned, continuing to push it forward usually creates more resistance over time. You might be able to make progress, but it often feels like an uphill climb. If it's a timing issue, the idea or direction might still be right, but there's something that hasn't fully clicked into place yet. There may be more clarity needed, more experience, or just a different moment for it to come together. A lot of us have been taught that effort equals results, and that if something isn't working, the answer is to do more, try harder, or stay consistent no matter what. And while consistently absolutely has its place, there's a difference between being consistent with something that feels aligned and pushing through something that feels off. When you're aligned, effort still exists, but it feels different. There's a sense of movement, even when things are challenging. When you force something, that movement tends to feel stuck, like you're expending energy without getting the same level of return. Even something that happened recently for me really brought this into perspective. We had a trip planned to Florida for my birthday, and part of that trip was also looking at homes. It's something that I've been working toward for a while now, building my business in a way that gives me the freedom to make that move sooner rather than later. And then the flight got canceled. And in that moment, there's that initial reaction of frustration, disappointment, and just trying to understand why it didn't work out the way I expected it to. But when I stepped back from it, I realized it wasn't something I could force. There was nothing to fix, nothing to push through. It just wasn't happening in that moment. And instead of staying in that frustration, I had to shift into trust. Trust that that timing will come together the way it's meant to. And that just because something didn't happen when I wanted it to, doesn't mean it's not happening at all. Sometimes what feels like a block is just really a pause or a redirection, even if you don't fully understand it yet. This is also where understanding how you naturally operate becomes really important. Not everyone is meant to move in the same way, make decisions the same way, or take actions at the same pace. Some people are designed to respond and build momentum over time, while others are more aligned with initiating and moving quickly. When you try to operate outside of your natural way of working, things can start to feel forced, even if the direction itself is right. So part of this awareness is not just looking at what you're doing, but how you're doing it, and whether that actually supports you. When you start to recognize that something feels forced, the first step isn't to fix it immediately. It's to create a little space. That may look like stepping back from the situation, even briefly, so you can look at it more clearly. It might just mean pausing that constant thinking and allowing yourself to notice what actually feels true for you underneath all that noise. And you could start by asking yourself a few simple questions. Where am I putting in effort that feels heavier than it needs to? What part of this feels natural? And what part feels like I'm trying to make it work? If I took a step back, what would I see differently? Now, those questions aren't meant to give you instant answers, but they start to shift your awareness in a way that allows clarity to come in. There's a difference between quitting something and adjusting how you're approaching it. Sometimes the shift is in the direction itself. Other times it's in your timing. And sometimes it's in how you're showing up within it. When you move out of force and into alignment, things don't necessarily become effortless overnight, but they start to feel more supported. There's more flow, clarity, and a sense that you're working with yourself instead of against yourself. And that's where things begin to change. So if this is a good time for you and you're not driving, I want you to take a moment with me here. You can gently close your eyes or just soften your focus. Take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Let your body settle just a little more with each breath. Now bring your awareness to whatever area in your life feels the most forced right now. There's no need to change it or fix it. Just notice it. Notice how it feels in your body when you think about it. Notice if there's any tension, pressure, or even just a sense of heaviness. Now, instead of leaning into that pressure, imagine yourself taking a small step back from it. You're still aware of it, but there's a little more space between you and the situation. Take another slow breath in and exhale. Ask yourself, without overthinking it, what is this trying to show me? You don't need a full answer. Just notice what comes up, even if it's subtle. Now bring your awareness back to your body. Feel your breath, your grounding. Just feel yourself in this moment. Allow yourself to trust that clarity. And allow yourself to trust that clarity comes when you give it space. Take one more breath in and gently exhale. If something in your life feels like it's taking more effort than it should right now, there's a good chance it's trying to show you something. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, and it doesn't mean you need to abandon it. It simply means there's an opportunity to look at it differently and adjust from a place of awareness. The more you start to recognize the difference between forcing and flowing, the easier it becomes to move in a way that actually supports you. I want to thank you for being here with me today. And as always, keep rising above. Many blessings. If this episode resonated and you've been feeling like something in the way you're working or making decisions isn't fully clicking, I'm hosting a workshop in May called Design to Work. It's going to walk you through how you're designed to work, move, and decide in your business so things can feel a lot more aligned and clear. You can join the workshop on its own, or if you want to go deeper, you can step into my Inner Sovereign Society where everything is included. I'll leave both options in the show notes.